We have invited such a renowned international figure to address us tonight because what he has to say is enormously important. But President Gorbachev is here as well because he exemplifies the type of visionary, transformative leadership which we hope the Oechsle Center for Global Education will inspire and prepare our students to emulate as they engage with the world throughout their lives and their careers. Interdisciplinary in its orientation and innovative in its approach to learning and to global citizenship and service, the Oechsle Center will enable us to globalize the curriculum and add a global perspective to the educational experience of every Lafayette student.
Perestroika was a difficult process in our country. And gradually, we were pushing forward toward this democratic breakthrough, toward the end of the totalitarian system in our country, toward democracy and freedom. We were also moving step by step toward a new economy, toward market economics. But the most important thing was freedom and glasnost. That conference, the 19th Party Conference in 1988, adopted amazing decisions. We proclaimed freedom as our goal. We proclaimed the movement toward freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of political choice, all freedoms. People must be free. Only a free individual can respond, can cope with the challenges that we were facing at that time. We also decided that, in effect, we will be changing the entire system, that we would be building a system for a free country, that we would be building a system of political democracy, that we will implement a democratic constitution, that it will be based on the right of people to know everything and to be involved in deciding, in making decisions on all political issues. The conference lasted for 10 days, and during those 10 days, people were watching everything on television. We showed all of it openly to the people on television, and even the theaters were empty because the main show at that time was not in the theaters but in the Kremlin. The 20 years that have passed after the interruption of Perestroika have been difficult, but nevertheless I believe that we have not turned back. We still can continue the transformation of our country. The breakup of the Union of Republics, that is something that affected very negatively the subsequent course of events in our country. During the time of Boris Yeltsin, shock therapy reforms were implemented. That shock therapy ruined the financial system, ruined the economy, ruined the industry. We are only now moving toward the levels of production of 1990, which was the last normal year of Perestroika. So a big blow was dealt to our country. Now I think there is, again, an opportunity to move forward, but a lot of time was wasted, and that is why we have poverty in our country. That is why we have not been able to rebuild the manufacturing base in our country, and so on. So I would say that Russia today is a country that is in the process of transition. We are moving toward democracy. This democratic transition, I would say, is only halfway down the road, perhaps a little more than halfway. And that is why we have seen some setbacks, some rollbacks. We are having difficulty fighting corruption. The fight of corruption has been rather ineffective, and we're facing many other problems. And therefore, there is a lot of work ahead. I'm saying that to you because you need to understand what is happening in the country. When you are thinking about Russia, you need to understand this context. Above all, you need to understand that Russia will not go back. But Russia is facing a lot of problems. And the opportunities that existed after the end of the Cold War, the opportunities that were opened up by glasnost, by freedom, by democracy, were not used properly. And I would say more. At that same time, we saw that the entire world situation did not develop positively. We saw a deterioration where there should have been a positive movement toward a new world order. Pope John Paul II, whom I regarded as my friend, whom we were very close, once said, we need a new world order. A world order that must be more stable compared to what we had, more humane, and more just. And I think that he said it best. No one has been able to improve on that characterization of a new world order. But we still are facing the problem of building such a world order. We don't have such a world order. Instead, we have crises. We are facing the problems of the environment, the problems of backwardness and poverty, the problems of food shortages. All of these problems are because we do not have a system of global governance. We are living in a global world. The political prerequisites for a global world do exist. They had been created, but we were not ready, and we still have to learn to live in this global world. This is the #1 problem, and a lot here depends on how countries like the United States will act, how Europe will behave. When I talked to my American friends, politicians, scholars, and others, I said to them, it looks like you need the military industrial sector. You need a defense sector for your economy to prosper. If that is so, that is a sick economy. And I said that very seriously. And I am not saying that in order to rankle anyone. By the way, I am saying these things to my people at home. I am saying the same. So we need to think about this. Those who think about the future, those who wants to build prerequisites for the future, to build the tools for democracy and freedom, to build a society at the center of which is the human being, nature, and where poverty is abolished. Those people will ultimately win, I am sure, and it's very important for the military and for the military-industrial complex to understand that, because a lot of brain power is concentrated in that sector. I believe that that brain power should move from military plans to other goals, and I believe that the people who are now working there can make a great contribution to change.